9 News Early Edition with Kate Creadon.
Good morning and welcome. We begin in Sydney, where a woman has been cut free from a car outside Westmead Hospital. The 26-year-old was rushed to emergency after falling 10 metres from a balcony in Lidcombe late last night. But paramedics were forced to remove the doors of the vehicle, fearing she may have suffered serious spinal injuries. The woman is now in a stable condition. It's believed the fall was an accident. In a major embarrassment for education authorities, Year 12 students in Victoria have received their tertiary admission ranks 5 days ahead of their official release. The bungle happened last night when students registered to receive their results, only for them to be sent straight away via text message. Social media was flooded with pupils wondering if it was all a hoax or a prank. Troubled AFL star Ben Cousins is facing the prospect of spending Christmas in jail, accused again of breaching a violence restraining order taken out against him by the mother of his 2 children. The former West Coast captain was arrested on Tuesday night after coming within 10 metres of his ex-partner. Cousins claims she approached him while he was dropping off a hire car. A court hearing is scheduled for today. Meantime, Fremantle Dockers forward Shane Yarran is on indefinite personal leave after being charged over a glassing in a pub brawl last year. The charge is likely to spell the end of the 27-year-old's AFL career, and if convicted, he could face time behind bars. Incredible dashcam footage has captured the moment a Sydney driver narrowly avoids a serious crash in the city's west. The car is seen pulling out the front of a truck in Penrith, clipping the edge of the vehicle. Amazingly, the ute manages to stay on the road. A tradie has been praised after he risked his life to save a pet dog during a large fire on the Gold Coast. A woman and 2 of her canines managed to escape when the home went up in flames at Eleanora, but another dog was still in the basement.
The lady came out of the house screaming. We looked, we saw it was on fire, so we dragged everything out. Then she said, my dog's in the basement, so I had to go down into the basement and get the dog out inside.
The home was destroyed, but incredibly, no one was injured. 1 in 10 retired Australians are affected by dementia, but a new report has found many cases are actually preventable. Some of the main strategies used to maintain our heart health can also help ward off the condition.
For these retirees, keeping active is much more than looking after the body.
I love coming here, and it's good for the mind, it's good for the health. You've got to concentrate on so many things.
A new report by the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare says about 30% of dementia cases are due to factors that affect our heart and blood vessels. Lack of exercise, stroke and high blood pressure during middle age, the biggest concerns.
Lifestyle factors actually can have an impact on somebody's predisposition to dementia, the ability to reduce their risk of getting dementia, and in fact even to delay the exacerbation of symptoms.
Scientists are currently focused on new treatments that target the toxic buildup of protein in the brain, commonly described as plaques and tangles. But some experts believe dementia is primarily caused by our ageing heart and hardened arteries.
As our heart keeps beating, it starts to tear the vessels of the brain and they bleed. And each small bleed becomes the plaque.
While much work is being done into finding a cure for this devastating disease, the latest report highlights a need for prevention.
Well, there's been a lot of work done around the impact of exercise.
For some, it's already making a difference.
It's been very good for blood pressure. We do have a fun class, and that's the most important thing.
Gabriella Rogers, 9 News.
At least 40 people have been killed when an aircraft crashed into northern Pakistan. The plane was en route to the country's capital, Islamabad, when it lost radio contact with air control and plunged into the mountains. Aviation officials say it's unlikely there are any survivors, and the crash may have been due to an engine failure. The death toll from a 6.4 magnitude earthquake that struck off Sumatra has risen to 97. More than 700 military personnel and volunteers are combing through the rubble for survivors, while helicopters are helping reach people in isolated areas. More than 100 buildings came crashing down or were damaged during the quake, including the local hospital. The Syrian army has retaken the old city of Aleppo following weeks of heavy fighting with rebels. Opposition forces withdrew overnight as many countries call for a 5-day ceasefire to allow civilians to leave and vital supplies to be sent to residents. Hundreds have already died in the city, with tens of thousands living without functioning hospitals and dwindling food stock. The issues of asylum seekers is heading for a showdown in classrooms across the country next week, with teachers warned they could be sacked if they take part in a controversial protest. The Federal Education Minister, Simon Birmingham, has written to his state counterparts asking them to take action. Hundreds of teachers are preparing to wear T-shirts with the message "Close the camps," and some will hold discussions with students on the issue. Finding a shopping centre car park at Christmas time can feel almost impossible, but there is a solution. Following a few simple rules can mathematically improve your odds of jagging the perfect space in record time.
Violent outbursts and moments of madness. Tensions run high before turning to rage. All this even before shoppers get through the door. New data from Aussie Farmers Direct ranks shopping centre car parking as the most stressful part of Christmas.
Pretty rough.
Very, very frustrating.
Incidents like this can cost thousands.
Around $1,200 for these stationary damage and car park claims, but obviously dependent on the car that you hit, that damage will vary.
Insurance companies recording a spike in claims at this time of the year.
Over half of all stationary damage occurs in car parks.
Stan Harvey is an experienced driving instructor and says frustration boils over when car parks are hotly contested. His formula for success: don't try to navigate the whole car park. Choose a small area and circle it. Be assertive. Ask other shoppers if they're leaving.
I always watch for people with shopping trolleys, bags of goodies, and yell out to them.
Stan says rooftop parks often have the most spaces because many drivers don't want to park in the sun. Being in a rush is the biggest car park accident risk. Try to keep calm and ignore other drivers' mistakes. And always reverse in where you can. More than 30% of accidents in car parks happen when someone is trying to reverse out of a space.
We'd certainly recommend paying attention at this time of year and not just going into auto mode when you are reversing or moving around car parks in general.
Zara James, 9 News.
A US Army veteran with a big heart is on a mission to share Christmas cheer with everyone. Larry is delighting children as the Minnesota shopping centre's first Black Santa.
How are y'all doing? Hey!
It could be the twinkle in his eye.
Merry Christmas!
Or his jolly voice.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
But when you meet Santa Larry,
excellent.
It's easy to believe.
How did he know?
How did I know?
I just enjoy being Santa Claus. It brings a lot of joy to me.
These are my
Larry Jefferson calls North Texas home, but now he's known nationwide. Just back from Mall of America in Minnesota, where he was their first ever African-American Santa, chosen after a national search.
And here I am. Ta-da!
He met hundreds of families. Some flew in from across the country just to meet him.
I'm Santa Claus. I just happen to look like them, and they can relate to that.
In a flash, the story went viral. A clatter of comments, most positive, but reports of some backlash.
They are definitely on our list. They will get some coal.
He has a message to anyone who might think Santa can only be played by someone who's white.
Get over it. I'm just Santa Claus. I'm just Larry, a person who's portraying a character, to help lift the spirits during the holiday season.
This Santa is a 30-year Army veteran. He first put on the suit in 1999 with a helper beard to play Santa for his nephews. Now during the holidays, he plays Santa full-time.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
With an upgraded suit and a very real beard.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Now an update from the wide world of geeky science. You may not have felt it yet, but the Earth is slowing down. The amount of time it takes for our planet to complete a single rotation on its axis is slowing by 1.8 milliseconds per century. And how do the boffins know this? Well, they've used these ancient tablets which accurately record hundreds of lunar and solar eclipses, dating back to more than 2,500 years. Taking a look at the weather around the country. Brisbane, a possible storm, 31. A late shower for Sydney, 29. Also for Canberra, 31. Showers easing in Melbourne, 24. The same for Hobart. Adelaide, an early shower or two, 21. Perth, sunny, 31. And the chance of a shower or storm for Darwin, 35 degrees there. Stay with us. Still to come this morning, the startling warning about our nation's health. Why we are the unhealthiest we've ever been. Plus, we're live to the United States as Donald Trump is named Person of the Year. And could Prince Harry's dash to see his girlfriend have landed him in hot water with the Queen? Let's take a look at the front pages in Sydney's Daily Telegraph. Fed up judge takes a stand. A Muslim woman who has repeatedly refused to stand for a judge during a New South Wales District Court hearing could face multiple contempt charges for her disrespectful behaviour. Melbourne's Herald Sun, nation of fatties, 11.2 million Aussies, or 63% of all adults, are now considered overweight or obese, according to the latest snapshot of the nation's health. To Brisbane, and the Courier Mail reports Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk's government has been revealed as the largest government employer of 457 visa workers, only a day after telling Adani it couldn't use foreign workers in its Queensland megamine. And in the Australian, the nation's worst economic performance since the global financial crisis threatens to upset the government's budget planning and force the Reserve Bank to reconsider the case for further interest rate cuts. A reminder of our top stories this morning. A woman has been cut free from a car outside a hospital in Sydney's west after she was rushed to emergency moments after falling from a balcony. In a major embarrassment for education authorities, Year 12 students in Victoria have received their tertiary admission ranks 5 days ahead of their official release. And at least 40 people have been killed when an aircraft crashed in northern Pakistan. More than half of Australians are now overweight or obese, with the number of those struggling with their weight growing dramatically. According to new government figures, 63% of the population is affected, with those in regional areas most at risk. South Australia has the highest number of overweight people, followed by Western New South Wales and Victoria's Western region. Meanwhile, a new report warns the death of Australian sport is upon us, with just 2% of Aussie children active every day outside of school hours and only 19% exercising at least 3 times a week. Expense and lack of interest are the main reasons kids are missing out, as well as some parents thinking they are too young for competitive sports. Solo activities like walking and swimming are now the most popular types of activities. It's been a big 12 months for Donald Trump, and now the US business mogul turned politician has been named Time Magazine's 2016 Person of the Year. For the details, Tessa Hardy joins us from LA. Tessa, he certainly influenced the news this year.
Hi, Kate. He has, and the editor of Time magazine has come out saying that really this year's choice of Donald Trump was a pretty straightforward one. They always give this title to the person they deem as having the most influence on world events and news, for better or for worse. They say unquestionably this is Donald Trump. The questionable part if it was for better or for worse. They say never before have we seen a single individual defy expectations and break the rules like he has. So his picture there, as you're seeing, has appeared on the cover of Time magazine under the headline President of the Divided States of America, which Trump has responded to saying that part is a bit snarky, but overall he says he's honoured to receive this title.
Well, it's a very humbling experience, I can tell you, as somebody that loves this country. The people that voted for me, we call them the forgotten men and women. These are great people.
Number 2 was given to Hillary Clinton. Never before has this magazine awarded the runners-up title to a losing presidential candidate, but they felt like she deserved it. And Kate, number 3 didn't go to an individual, but a group, hackers.
Proof that there is no such thing as bad publicity. Tessa Hardy, thank you. A major blizzard is hitting the US, blowing icy winds and blanketing the northern states in snow. Conditions on the roads are deteriorating fast, making it dangerous for many to leave.
This morning, dangerous driving conditions across the northern plains.
The hill just got us, and we just started sliding sideways all the ways down the hill.
The blizzard striking North Dakota, making it nearly impossible to see on the roads.
A lot of people spinning around getting stuck. What?
Over a foot of snow pounding some parts of the state. Wind gusts reaching up to 64 miles per hour.
It was hair-raising because I've never had to drive in that before.
Even snowplows is struggling to drive through the icy mess.
Everybody's stuck down there. We're just having to hold up for 30 or 40 minutes.
Dozens of roads like this one closed, and officials across the northern plains urging drivers to stay home.
We want the traveling public to not underestimate the conditions and overestimate their driving ability.
Australia's biggest stars in film and television have hit Sydney for the ACTA Awards. Mel Gibson was the standout of the night with his film Hacksaw Ridge, taking home 9 awards.
I'm not the only one that wants to make films here all the time. Ridley Scott said the same thing. He loves it here. It's truly great. And I am really honoured and choked up. I can't even talk.
Crocodile Dundee star Paul Hogan was also honoured for his long and illustrious career in the film industry. Prince Harry could soon be reprimanded by the Queen after reportedly breaching royal protocol by secretly visiting his girlfriend in Canada. Live to Nine's Europe correspondent Amelia Ballinger in London. Amelia, the young royal didn't seem too fazed at this latest public appearance.
No, and look, I don't think he's in too much trouble. Kate, Prince Harry was in very high spirits, and it was, of course, all for a very good cause. Harry joined forces with London City Traders at an annual fundraising day, and one of his charities, Centre Barley, was a beneficiary this year, so he was working extra hard to make as much cash as he possibly could. They were really doing big business in there today. We are talking about tens of millions of dollars being raised. Prince Harry was doing a great job on the phone, wheeling and dealing. He actually did a deal with a trader from Australia who got a bit of a ribbing from Prince Harry about the rugby result last week. And let me tell you, there's been a lot of that over here over the last week. Prince Harry was fresh off the plane this morning following that quick trip to Toronto that we've been hearing all about. He dropped in there to visit his girlfriend, Meghan Markle. The couple only spent 2 nights together, but there is some suggestion that Prince Harry has broken royal protocol by detouring on his way home. But look, he had finished his official tour of the Caribbean. This was a separate leg. It wasn't exactly mixing personal and professional, and apparently the flights were paid for privately. So I hope the Queen isn't too hard on him, and somehow I don't think she will be, Kate.
He's certainly looking pretty happy, Amelia. Thank you. It's time to check in now with Lisa and Pete. What's coming up this morning on Today?
Plenty coming up. Morning, Kate. We have a huge show for you today. Don't miss our essential advice on how to keep your family safe this bushfire season.
And find out which international megastar, and we are seriously talking megastar, is the brand new coach on The Voice. That person is joining us live on the show for a huge reveal.
And that's not the only exclusive. We meet Australia's largest family to find out how they'll cope this Christmas.
And Blocky is here with $50,000 to give away.
All that and much more coming right up very soon.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys. Still to come this morning, all of the day's sports news, including Australia's summer of cricket heats up as Pakistan touches down in Cairns. Plus, Ben Barber swaps rugby league for Labor in a bid to turn his career around. And Bernard Tomic reveals his big goal for the new year. To sport, and Chad Sayers will be under close watch from selectors after the Test prospect impressed in South Australia's Shield match against New South Wales, taking 5 for 27. It comes as Test opponents Pakistan touched down in Cairns to play a warm-up match against Cricket Australia's 11, with their focus on preparing for Steve Smith's fierce pace attack.
You have to tackle fast bowlers here, so it's a totally different challenge, and we are really looking up to it.
Pakistan will open its Test series against Australia in Brisbane on December 15, while Steve Smith's one-day side will tomorrow wrap up their series against New Zealand at the MCG. Ben Barber will spend his summer working on the tools after taking a $1,000 a week labouring job as he makes steps to resurrect his league career. The troubled NRL star returned home from Thailand after completing a 28-day stint in rehab, and his Sharks teammates aren't giving up hope the premiership-winning fullback will return to the club.
I've spoke to Benny myself. I've gone out of my way to talk to him, and he's doing great. As he told me, obviously he's a big loss, but I'm sure he'll be back during the year sometime, and he's got all our support behind him.
Barber will serve a 12-game ban after testing positive to cocaine use last month, 4 days after starring in the Sharks' grand final win. The pay dispute between the AFL and its players has escalated, with Geelong superstar Patrick Dangerfield warning of a pre-season strike if the AFL doesn't meet their demands. Players are fighting for a new percentage-based revenue model, which they believe gives more incentive to grow the game. AFL CEO Gil McLachlan rejected a written invitation to address players at a summit in Victoria tomorrow. Tennis and Bernard Tomic has labelled 2017 as the year he cracks the top 10. The 24-year-old admits he's frustrated he and fellow countryman Nick Kyrgios are misunderstood, but hopes the new year will turn opinions around. Tomic will kick off his season in January at the Brisbane International. Sydney FC coach Graham Arnold has vowed to avenge his side's FFA Cup final defeat to Melbourne City when the two go head-to-head at ANZ Stadium. The Sky Blues have warned to expect an even higher intensity than what was on display last Wednesday as they look to continue their unbeaten run in the A-League. Stay with us on 9's Early Edition. All the weather details are coming up after the break. Taking a look at the weather and around the country today, Brisbane, a possible storm 31, a late shower for Sydney 29, also for Canberra 31, showers easing in Melbourne 24, Adelaide an early shower or two 21. Quickly to tomorrow, Brisbane, a possible storm, sunny in Sydney, and a shower or two is expected for Melbourne. That is all from me this morning. It's time now to join Lisa and Pete for today. I'm Kate Creadon. Thanks so much for your company. Have a wonderful day.